Hey, what's up, guys? Ronin Man here. All right, I want to do a breakdown of a chat that somebody sent me. So, if you have any chats from women, feel free to send them over because those are often the most instructive things because it's real. You know what I mean? It's you and her, and I love these kind of this kind of content because it gives me a chance to explain stuff that doesn't come to my mind. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much stuff that I know that doesn't even I don't even know how to explain it because I just know it. So it just comes and I just do it and then I'm done. But it's only by seeing reaction of other people that I realize, oh, I see. There was the sticking point. There was the danger. So yeah, if you want me to comment on anything, any kind of chat, or anything really, anything that you think is really important, please send it to me. Just send it to roninmigtao@gmail.com and I'll get it. All right, so let's read this chat here. Okay, so this is the girl talking. You tired because you do too much sex with me? And he said yes, or yeah. When you have lady, you do too much sex. It makes you tired. It make you tired. Okay, so what she's doing here in this discussion is when you have lady. So what she's saying is you don't have many ladies. That's what she's saying. It's a put down. Okay, now, so you could say it's a test, or you could say it's true, depending on the guy, right? But even if it's true, it's still not very nice, right? But anyway, that's kind of like, you got to remember that it's a fencing contest, men and women. It just is, and it just always will be. But you don't have to get emotional about it, but you need to see it, right? You need to see it because sometimes she'll push it and you'll have to mention it. But you want to mention it cool because you've been noticing it and you're logical about it, right? So, when you have lady, that is not a mistake. No, that means she doesn't think he has many ladies, and so she's like, okay, he's having his burst of sex with me. Okay, that's kind of her, I would say, opinion, basically. Okay. And he said, was it too much for you? So he turned it around good, because he took the focus off himself, right? And she said, not too much, but now here's where she changes to we, right? We tired because we do sex and sleep late. So now she did two things here. One is she went to the royal we, right? Before it was you do too much. It'd make you tired. Now we. So she's backing off. It didn't work. She's backing off. So she's not super aggressive, right? But she is still, what I would say is not saying, like basically, what am I even doing? Like, this kind of discussion is just so dumb. But anyway, not too much, we tired. Okay. Yes. Okay. And do sex for me, not for love, but only for sex. Now, here's the bomb. Here's the bomb she dropped in here. So this guy was with this girl and they had sex a lot, and now she's really accusing him from a male mind, right? She's accusing him of not loving her, just sex, right? And that's really difficult because sex and love are connected, right? So we know that we don't want to have sex with people we don't love. It's such a difficult thing, and it's one of these kind of like things that people throw at you that are really hard to deal with. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I've ever been in a party and someone just says something about, I don't know, just anything. Could be about an old, long-standing dispute like Palestinians, or it could be history of a country, or it could be just anything like belief in God or whatever. It's like they're throwing stuff at you that really takes PhD level answers, right? And that's a trick. That's a trick. Because they know, right? So sex and love. So she's like putting those two together. And at the same time, from a female perspective, she is testing him to see whether he is falling for her, basically, right? There's no sign of love here. I don't see, that's the one thing that's missing. I don't see her like, you're so awesome, but, kind of thing. No, it's kind of like, this is to me, very cold type of situation, right? That's always something to think about, to remember. Just remember that there's different ones, right? There's some where the girl's just like, oh my gosh, you're evil. You're causing me to be a different person. The sex is so good that, basically I'm losing my mind and I'm losing myself. I don't know what to do. This is fucked up at work. I can't. There's women that talk like that. This is not that. This is totally different, right? Just a logical discussion from a logical girl. Today, you said I should go. Okay? I know myself, I will back my home today. So basically she's saying now, you said I should go. I should go. Now, maybe those were the words he used, but she knows that's not what he meant. It didn't mean like, this is it, it's over. She was choosing to accuse him of essentially breaking up with her or doing a breakup level mistake or whatever. It's kind of a trap. And then she said, I know myself, I will go back my home today. So what she's saying is she's protecting her heart, herself. It's like, I already decided to go home, baby. It doesn't mean shit to me. I was going to go anyway. So because the reason why it means so much is because she said, I should go. So she's like saying, like, you're saying fuck you, and I'm saying, no, fuck you. I don't know if you remember, there was an old meme, like, fuck you, asshole. He's like, no, fuck you, asshole. That's basically what that one is, right? On a lighter scale, whatever, yeah. But when you said I should go, it make me feel like you fired me. Okay. So this is the kind of all the stuff that she's thrown at this guy. Now, I would say this is an experienced woman. And that's important. That's important. The reason why is because if you date younger women, you're not going to have as much of this. They just don't have the experience to do this kind of chat. This is an experienced chat that of a female that's had her heart broken a million times, right? That's my take. That's really, I've been in a lot of chats. That's what I would say about this one. Could be wrong, but that's my take there. It made me feel like you fired me. Okay, so that again it's a complaint. It's made me feel like you fired me. Okay, made me feel. Again, we know it's not saying, did you want to break up, right? Which is what she might say is, did you mean that we want to break up? She might ask that, right? Or like, good luck in the future or something, right? If she really thought he was firing her, but he wasn't, and she knew that. But it made her feel. So this is a typical female thing. This is a typical one. She knows what he meant, but she felt something different, and now they're in a fight, basically. That's essentially what's going on. So it's like this back and forth. My back and forth, just so you know, after sex with girls, it's just like, I had a great time, you're so sweet, it was great to see you, that kind of thing. That's kind of like the chats I get when sex is over. So just, you need to see yourself from the outside, because a lot of guys, they draw false conclusions, right? Okay, so maybe, yeah, okay, so no, and he said, no, I just wanted to say that I need a rest, which was a good answer, and you need a rest too, good night. Pretty solid rebuttal there. Is like, he didn't say I didn't say that, which was good, and he just kind of said, oh, I needed a rest. Just wanted to say I need a rest and you need a rest. So because she said the we, so that's cool. Good response. Good night. And then she said understood. So that means that he kind of quote unquote won. Okay, so there was no major explosions here, so that's good. I would say that overall that was a successful interaction, right? It was successful. What else can we learn from that? I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, because I was thinking of a lot of things before the video. I would look back if I was me and say, why did she say that when you have a woman? Because she's really saying that there's not many girls in your life. And why would she say that? Was it the way I dressed? Was it the way I acted? I don't think that one is fake, in other words. I think she's saying that one. And she's also fishing at the same time. Like, why? What is going on with you, right? So always look at yourself through these two. Like, I think a lot of guys, they just want to see somebody pile on somebody, right? You always can learn something. That's the key thing. Any interaction with a woman, there's something that you can improve, right? There's something that you can do, right? Now, in this case, it might be to have 2 more girlfriends, right? That would be one thing you could do. And then she wouldn't say that. I never have women say that. It's just never. I've never, ever had a woman say that. So just so you guys know, like, the reason why I say that, you got to know, like, this is not to brag. It's because I know myself and I have experience, and I'm telling you that I didn't have that. Other things I had that are very embarrassing that I talk about. But you need to know, I guess you need to let in bad news when you're when you're analyzing a chat too. When you're learning, you have to realize you're not perfect. You gotta if you don't get that and just see her, it's a bad road for you. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to be with her. You're going to be by yourself. And for me, I'm always looking at myself and saying, wait, what am I doing here? What could have been better? What can I learn from this person? I do the same thing with chats, comments on the YouTube channel. Even the ones that are very disrespectful. I think about it. I don't know if you read my replies. I think about it. I really do. And it's like, I see it as it's almost like an AI that is mirroring back and adding in commentary about me. That's so valuable. We pay big money for that. Like, you might buy, let's say, a digital course, right? Let's say sales course, right? It's a general course for everybody, right? Once you take that course, you're going to try some of the things, and then you're going to have sticking points that you won't be able to answer from that course. That's when you get personal instruction, right? You pay more money for that because they have to look at you, they have to watch you, they need to ask questions, they need to think, they need to solve, they need to figure out what you're doing wrong and what to do about it. So that's personal instruction, right? Which is always more expensive. When you look at any chat with a girl, it's personal instruction for you. It's a great opportunity to see how you're doing, how people see you, what you could do better, even if you don't care. That's the thing. A lot of guys are like, oh, I don't care. I'm going to go on a limb and say a lot of the guys just say that it's because they're butthurt, right? Don't be butthurt. We all get butthurt. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're type person or anything. We do get butthurt. And at least see yourself, and say, I'm saying I wouldn't date anybody to do this because I'm pissed off. Fine. And then let it roll. Because again, the truth is only going to help you. The truth is your friend. It really is. So let's see. Oh yeah, the key lesson. Okay, so after that chat, he said something like, that's why I basically don't go on dates with regular girls. I do this or that. And I think that most guys would accept that. They'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. You go to a shop, you get bad service. You don't go to that shop. You go to another shop, right? Okay. But unfortunately, I know more. There is a way to deal with this that I learned that you can just be unscathed. You really need, it's a mindset. Okay, it's not something you're doing, right? Again, this is what confuses people. They're like, what do I do? Where do I live? It's a mindset. The mindset. Okay, so what is my mindset? My mindset when I'm chatting with a girl and she's throwing tests at me, right? Which is essentially what these chats all are, tests. I would say that's the best box you can put them in, okay? Like they say shit tests. These aren't really shit tests. As you guys know, shit test was invented by PUAs, and it refers to when you walk on a dance floor over to a girl in a club, and you say something to her, she pretends like she can't hear you. She's like, get the fuck out of here, or something like that. A shit test was just that initial interaction. But it is a useful term. And I know a lot of people are now using it for, women in relationships and marriages and dates and stuff. I think it best refers to that first interaction, because a shit test is something that you kind of just have to take. You just ignore it. Just keep going forward. Just pretend like it didn't happen. And when you do that, what'll happen is the girl's like, oh, that didn't work on him. And then she'll change, right? That's what guys have figured out. So when you've already had sex with her, it's like a relationship problem, basically. So what are the lessons that you could really learn and he could learn? The first thing is, why is he in a chat with a girl like this after sex for so long? It's a pretty long chat for me. Why is he doing that? Why did he let that happen? Or what could he have done to avoid that chat? Right? What could you do to avoid that chat? I would say one thing you could do is send a message that's not a chat. Like from the beginning. You say, hey, it was great to see you. I'm thinking about you. I'm going to sleep. Zzz. That's like one of my, like I give her a compliment. It's like a nice thing. It's a touch base after the sex that night. So she's not like, because women, naturally they're going to be, does he love me? They get into this mindset. So I want to kind of calm that down. And also too, I like people, and I'm thinking about them, so I take the true part of that and I say, yeah, I'm thinking about her. I am, I had a great time. It was great to see her. Right. And I'll just put that in this thing and I'll just say, okay, going to sleep. Good night. Right. And she can respond to it, and I might respond tomorrow. Right. That will kind of cut off that chat. You just want to do a little thing that kind of just makes it difficult, because she can start putting a ton of messages. But if you already said you're going to sleep, right, and you don't check the messages, then she's like, shit, like, I don't want to be too bitchy, and he wakes up and sees this. You kind of outwitted her, right? So that's one thing you can do, right? The other thing too is to look back at your chats with other girls and say, am I doing this on a regular basis, right? Am I constantly getting into these kind of sticky situations? Because see, what the guys will do is they'll say, oh, they'll say, oh, that's her. She's doing that. She's doing a shit test. I would say, why are you in these discussions? Like, I'm not saying like you're bad or anything, dumb. I'm just saying, like, why are you? And then once you realize, you say, oh, I don't know why. Is there another way, right? And that's when you get open-minded, and then you start talking to guys who, they might know something, how to not do that. So then you were like, oh, shit, how do I avoid that? I thought that, because there's so many things like a fish in water, you think that you kind of have to do, or you have to be a dick. You don't see any way to handle it. But there's usually ways to handle shit. That's the thing. There's usually ways that other guys have figured out, and if you blame her, you're not going to find those. Right? And if you get all emotional, you're not going to find those, because you're not going to be in the mindset of willing to listen to another guy, right? That's the key thing. Like it's kind of embarrassing to be wrong in some lame level. I don't think this is the Ronin man spirit for the channel. Like, every guy here is like, you know what? I want to hear it. I fucking want to hear it. I appreciate it. Because I know that's personal instruction and that's valuable. Now, at the end of the day, you're going to choose what you're going to do. And that's totally fine. Everybody has free will. So that's the thing. You lose nothing by asking, by getting advice, right? And so I would say that the number one lesson, which I haven't said yet, is, and there's so many lessons in any of these chats that I can pull out, because I can see it. I can see what could have happened. I could do another hour on this, actually. So the key thing is why. Let's see. Oh God, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I'm gonna go back to my original response. Let me go back to that here, because that's good. That's gonna give me. I wrote, the key is to know the game, but not give two fucks. Basically, you have to know that she has to do that stuff. It's in her DNA or whatever. Off a duck's back, water off a duck's back, right? So The mindset is this, and this is the key mindset that is missing here. The reason why I say it's missing is because afterwards he said, I don't date regular girls anymore because kind of stuff like this. It's because, and this is where you can get back and fix yourself and you can reevaluate your own decisions, is you were hurt by this stuff. This stuff upset you. Okay, that's something you have to admit because not every guy is upset by this. That's the hard thing to accept. I think guys are like, wait, any guy would, and I think we all try to do this, like, oh, the girl did this. And then you're like, you're trying to get your friend to respond, like, oh, yeah, she shouldn't have done that. And you're trying to get other people everybody to agree with you, when in fact, an honest question would be something like, do you guys have chats like this? What's your takeaway from this chat? That's the kind of question. Is like, do you guys have chats like this? Like, I felt very twisted in knots after this and frustrated. And I didn't know what to say. And I didn't know what to do. And it frustrated me so fucking much that I totally changed my dating preferences because of this extremely painful type of interaction that I've had with women after we get together. That would be a pretty honest thing. And I would say I would totally agree with that. I think that we as men, it's very painful. It's very difficult. And for us, see, I'm not pointing the finger. I'm just saying like, that is so difficult to deal with. And it's like, I know as a guy, like from my perspective, I feel like, why am I having to deal with this? Like, this is the time when I really, like, sometimes girls, they just throw stuff at you at the most inopportune time. And I'm kind of like, I just wanted, the reason why I was with her is just to have a good time and enjoy her presence and to love her and be with her, right? And I'm having to deal with this. And that's kind of a frustration sometimes because, let's face it, some girls do this more than others and some girls do it less. Some girls are just cooler in chats, right? I'm thinking about it again. I would almost want to see a girl's chats before I dated her these days, just to see what she does. You show me your old chats. Let me see. I want to see what kind of, how you act in relationships. I'd love to see that because the other thing is, it has nothing to do with you. It's her own background, right? If you meet somebody and they're vegan, don't assume that they became vegan after they saw the color of your eyes or something, right? No, they were vegan before, and now you're standing there, right? That's how girls are. They were 7 feet tall, like, Shaq O'Neal, and then you walked up next to them. Then nothing changed. You didn't make them tall, right? So people are doing what they're doing, and you're just encountering them. So that's one mindset you can have that eases the burden, is that every girl is doing what she's doing. And I'm not saying you don't have any responsibility. There's nothing that you can do. But a lot of what she does is who she is. A lot. As is with you, right? As is with us. So what you do with that is you say, oh, do I like this person? Do I enjoy this person's company? And the only way you know that, this is why I always harp on pickup, because you have to meet a lot of people before you know there's different kinds of girls. Like so many men that, they live their whole lives and die and they don't even know they're getting a terrible deal, like a really blown out box and a really mean, bitter, experience, life, and the only reason why they don't know that is they haven't had any experience. So they just assume, okay, I've had 3 like this, so that means they're all like this, and it's not true. Everybody's different, and you have to experience that. I'm not saying that the one is going to break the mold and change your life and you're going to not be big down anymore or whatever. I'm just saying, like, people are different. They respond differently and things just affect you differently, right? How do you feel about it? But I think one of the key takeaways from this is to accept. Now, I'm not saying this is true for this guy, but I'm saying a lot of guys who would say they no longer date girls and now they do this, after that discussion would be because they were very hurt by it. And people always say that. Every news channel, when they have a guy, who hurt you. They're kind of right in a way. We are hurt by things. We have feelings. And I would say it's okay to accept that and just say, yeah, I've been hurt. Yeah, for sure. It doesn't, and you could talk about it. It doesn't motivate me to do these other things. I'm going to tell you why I believe this or that. And they'll say, well, no, it's because you're, I say, no, I already discussed that. I was very hurt by this person, and I did this, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And eventually I saw this and understood this. See, they don't want to hear that. They just want to like shut you up, basically. But when they realize you're reasonable, they're going to cut the news channel short, believe me, the questioning. Because they'll be like, oh shit, this guy he's not falling for it, right? He's not falling for it. He's admitting that he was hurt. That's the key thing. So that's why they keep saying it. Because we were hurt. And they know that. And they know that we respond just like I'm saying. We were hurt. Okay, that's just accept it. Okay, a girl hurt your feelings. That was one of the big reasons why you found a channel like this. And for me, I've had my heart broken a million times. And it's very difficult. And even a chat like this has upset me greatly before. It has. It's just very frustrating to see someone who's supposed to love me kind of riling me up with just tricky stuff all the time. It just bothers me. I know that. It has bothered me in the past. But the key thing, here's the breakthrough. Here's when you become really, essentially what they used to call a player. Now they call it Chad, right? It's a player, right? So you become a player when you realize the way out. And the way out in this one is that it's not that you turn into a bad boy. It's not that you don't care about life and you drive your car at 800 miles an hour into a wall. You see her, okay, this is the takeaway, as like the same way you would see any living thing. Okay, so for example, you see a bird or you see a person climbing a mountain or whatever, or you see a dog respond in a certain way to something, right? I always think of a dog chained up, how they respond differently, or when they're in their house, they're very protective, right? The dog has an innate he's not doing it to you, for example. This is his protection mechanism. He is protecting the house, right? Now, maybe he's not because he's doing the wrong thing, but that is what he's trying to do. But when you understand that he's trying to do that, right? It's the same with understanding children. It's very important. I loved studying child psychology, which I did after my daughter was born. I studied child psychology like tons of hours. And it was so interesting because I realized that babies are doing something for a reason based on their current brain development and their maturity. And I know you know that logically, but in real life when it happens, it just like doesn't hit you that way. You're just like, that baby's crying in the airplane. When the more you understand the baby, understand where his age, what he's going through, you'll be like, wow, I see what he's doing. I you know what I mean? And that's not even bad. Like that's what he's got to do that. That's his thing at that age, right? He doesn't understand this yet, but he understands that. So he's doing that because he wants to get that. And once you understand that, it makes it a lot easier because you're like, okay, you realize that, well, I mean, for one thing, you give up. You realize, okay, until this stage is over, this is what's going to happen. And this is just the way it's going to be, And by accepting that, instead of thinking, see what you think is from an adult brain, you think, oh, he's doing that from an adult brain. But he's not even like, I have to go to work and he doesn't understand. I got to pay the bills and I am in a hurry. He doesn't have the ability to understand that yet, okay? Because he doesn't have a job. He doesn't understand that yet, okay? And so when you understand that, that's when you become a wise man. That's when you can not be emotional because you're like, wait, that is kind of what he has to do actually. So then you get to a point, like if you ever see a father with like 9 kids, he just like everything rolls off his back. He's just like, okay, good. All right there. Yep. Get her out there. All right. Very good. Okay, good. Yep. Okay. You need some help with that. All right. Let's talk about that. And he just becomes, that thing's broken. Okay. Let's see what we can do about that. He just kind of like realizes that kids are going to be kids, right? They're going to break shit. They're going to get hurt. They're going to get angry. They're going to have emotional. They're going through puberty, And I'm not saying he becomes a simp. I'm saying he just becomes an experienced father, basically. Because when you have your first kid, as anybody knows who's had kids, is you treat them totally different than your second kid. Your second kid, you're like, this is what everybody says, every father says, is that, the second kid you understand, oh, I don't have to be so strict. Like the kid's just going to do this. And they kind of like get more mature. And then the reason why they say second kid is because nobody has any more. But in the old days, they had 7 and 9. So when you see a guy who's got 9, he really knows. He really knows how to deal with kids. And kids love him, naturally. Because he's just like, okay, he knows that he knows they don't harbor malice. Okay? The girl does not harbor malice in this interaction. That's an important thing. She is just doing what she's doing. So as a man, what you do is you say, oh, that's right. Because you get upset. And then you're like in your own mind. And then you say, oh, that's right. She's kind of doing what she has to do. She's testing me on these different levels. And, okay, you understand that. Okay, the next thing is, as you've improved yourself and you've looked at yourself and you've realized why she said you have sex with what you have a girl, and then you're like, okay, I need more girls, I need more experience, I need more options, so they can't play me like that, right? So then you realize that there's so many different chicks you could pick up, like today in the supermarket, right? So that it takes a lot of the pressure off, because you're like, yeah, well, if she does leave over some discussion, it's fine. I mean, I'll just go talk to somebody else, or I'll call those numbers I got, and you have options. Okay, so one, you see that she's doing in a relationship what she kind of has to do, and then 2, you know that you have many options. That's partly what traveling is so important, is you realize you have so many options. You don't even need to take them. Just to know you have them, and kind of like subconsciously you know when you should take them, so you're not ready to take them, but you know that when it's time, you're going to take them, right? That in itself changes your mood, because you're just like, okay, it's like this is going to be over soon. I can go do that, and that's awesome. And I can't wait. I'm going to double down and save more money to go do that, right? So that's it. When I say don't give 2 fucks, I don't mean don't turn off your feelings. I don't mean take a drug that's going to stop your feelings. I don't mean have feelings, hold them inside. What I mean is that you realize that she is doing what she has to do as a woman in a relationship. She kind of has to test you all the time. And she will do that till the day she dies. She will keep testing you. And the way that you deal with that internally is you realize that is, you almost laugh at it. You just think to yourself, yep, that's actually what she has to do. Have some empathy on her. Like, she's just doing what she has to do. Just fucking A, Like you might watch a video of yourself when you're 18 getting in a fight and think, it's kind of what I had to do at the time. Like, that was my mindset, I just had to do that at that age, and she has to do that. So you just let that go. And then you also know that, hey, I'm not going to go into this. And if this leads to disaster, A, my slate is totally clean. Like, I didn't mean, there's no malice on my side. B, nothing is worth breaking up for. So there's no reason to break up. So C, if she does break over this, or kind of do a breakup level fight over this, you're going to see that you were not, this is why you want to clean your side of the streets. Then you realize, hey, I can't really help this person. Like, this person is abnormal in this way. And until they come back to reality, there's nothing I can do. You know what I mean? Like, the vegan comes up. They didn't become a vegan because of you. They're just doing their thing, right? They're living their life. So you just say, okay. And the last thing is you think, blue skies ahead, man. Blue skies ahead. I want to get a chick with a bigger rack next time. Like, I just want to play with those boobies next time. And then maybe I'll go back to a skin, or whatever. You just start thinking what you want to do next, right? What's your next kind of plan? If you do all those things, and especially see yourself, and especially learn, and especially the 3 things, empathy for her. She's doing what she has to do. Healthy women have to test men, okay? I hate to break it to you. It's not a glitch in the system. They need to test you till the day that you die, because you're the protector. So they got to find out, hey, is this guy going to protect me? Is he going to be there? How much does he still care about me? Is he going to put his life on the line? Now, even whether that's true anymore or not, It's in her DNA. Like, perfect example of something, I'll end on this, of something that no longer we understand, but it's there. The reason why you feel good when you have sex is because through millions of years of evolution, animals and now humans and, Homo habitus and all this, erectus and all this, all of us, the animals that mated and had children are the ones that survived history. And so anybody who had any kind of good feeling about sex would have more kids and was more likely to survive. So the people that felt good during sex survived, the animals and the people. And so they were like, okay, I can do this. This is cool. And the ones who didn't make it. And then that got passed on and passed on and passed on. And now we're at the level where sex is incredibly good feeling, right? It's not because it's a good feeling. It's because the human race, the animal race, whatever, we all need to reproduce. So nature has weeded out people that don't, they just do it for children or something, like logical reason. The ones that like to do it are more likely to get pregnant, make mistakes, and this and that. And so they pass on their genes. And so that those genes include that aspect of their personality. And that's how we became what we are. There's nothing inherently good about sex like that. It feels good. It was so important. It was so important to human survival and animal survival before humans that it basically was the difference between life and death for the future generation of people. That's how genes get passed on, right? And even if you're religious, you know if you have two dogs, right? Let's say you have two dogs. One's white, one's black. Okay, now one never mates, right? And the other one does. Okay, so the white one mates with a white one. So there's another poodle or whatever, golden retriever there. Now who's going to pass? Like the both are going to die, the old ones, the black and white, but the other one's going to live, right? That's what I'm talking about. It's nothing to do with God. It's just simple. One mates, one doesn't, one dies, the other one, quote unquote, genes live on. Okay, so it's obvious. Same with plants and flowers. If you have roses and then you have thorn bushes and you kill the roses, the thorn bushes are going to take over the garden. That's what happens, right? That's exactly what happens. So having children determines survival of a species. So that's why it's so survival and reproduction, right? They're kind of the same thing in this case. And that's why I always go back to this, is our two main drives. Everything we do usually is down to survival or reproduction. Those are the two underlying drives. And when you understand that about yourself and about women, what is the woman's part in it? It's survival, right? And possible future reproduction. That's why she's testing you. So she wants to survive. So look at her as a little girl who wants to survive. Daddy, help me survive. That's what she's saying. That's what her inside herself is saying, right? Help me survive. And I don't know if you can protect me. Can you? Okay, good. Good for today. You know what I mean? But like tomorrow's another day and there might be new challenges. So are you good today? She's got to know. That's the way she's built. That's the way she evolved. And that's actually healthy. Look at somebody. Let's say you had a girl who didn't care about survival. Think about that. She's taking, fentanyl in the streets. She doesn't care. Do you want that? Is that really what you want? That's the opposite. She just goes to raves, does fentanyl, sleeps wherever she wants. Is that what you want? Someone who doesn't care about their own survival? No. Now, obviously in the moment, you're not going to go through this whole thing. But anyway, right now, it's a good time to think it through. I want a girl who's got a survival instinct. Hey. And I might even tell her that. Now that I've thought the whole thing through. I might say, I like when you do that. And she'll be like, what? I like when you test me. Because I know you're healthy. You want to survive. She'll be like, no, it's because I'm like, no, I know, I like that. And then she's like, it kind of takes away the pressure because she's like, oh. Like most guys, they get very upset about that. And you think about it, when you think it through, it's dumb to get upset about, actually. It's a dumb side of ourselves. It's not our best reaction, right? All right, there's some thoughts for the day. I hope that's been helpful. And if anybody has any more chats you want to send, please do. And I would love to see them, and I'll do my best. If there's nothing there, if I don't know, I'm not going to respond, okay? But if I see something good, golden one, I will be happy to do it. And I love thinking through these things, and I love learning. So I learn from you. So please put comments in there about your response to that. I'd love to hear. Yeah. All right. Take it easy, guys. Hope you have a good one.